Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Musa. I'm 25 years old. I was born in Mannheim, Germany. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. Right now, I'm married. I'm a newlywed. I just got married December the 21st of last year, which is 2015. I have two children. My son's name is Raheem, and my daughter's name is Harmony.
Cool.
Life before Islam. Um, like before Islam, I was a child. So my mother, we kind of grew up. I would say we was Christian, but we didn't go to church often. And when I was to go stay over my grandmother's house and my cousin's house, on Sundays they would like to go to church. So I didn't want to go to church. Like that wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was just something I was like, nah, I'm straight on that. But my auntie at the time they had got robbed like maybe 2 years prior to, she turned her life over and they started going to church a lot more, a lot heavier. So she, every time I went over there, because it was all me and my cousins, she wanted me to attend church with them. But I was to call my grandmother on Sunday morning, like, hey, come get me. I don't want to go to church. So in the process of me being young, my mother ended up getting married to a Muslim man. And basically, that's how I kind of got introduced to Islam. But before that, I was still just like a young child and trying to find my way, basically. You know what I mean? I never really was the type to read the Bible or wasn't too religious. I knew about God, you know what I mean? But it was always that unsurety of where I would go after I would die. So one night I had a conversation with my mother when we were Christian, practicing as Christians, that, why, where would I go when I die? And it was a fear for me because I didn't know the answer. I didn't know the truth. I didn't know anything. I just knew with certain things that I was taught, and as long as you pray and they wanted you to believe that Jesus was the Son of God, which it was always something that it just didn't fit right with me. And before I even knew about the true Islam, we was around a lady. She was with the Nation of Islam, and her situation was kind of bad. I don't want to publicize or blast the sister situation out, but it was kind of bad situation, and it kind of like turned us off from it in the beginning until my mother met her Muslim husband, and then that's when we learned about the truth of Islam.
Cool.
Life now, after I took my Shahada, um, it's been beautiful. It's been great. You know what I mean? I love it. I got married, you know what I mean? Coming from a place where had the women, had the money, had different things going for myself in the dunya lifestyle, that once it came to a point where I had to sit back and reflect on my life and the things that I was doing. And now that I can come to the masjid, it's nothing better than, to me, now that I'm married and I'm Muslim and I have a righteous Muslim wife, it's nothing better than to wake up with your mate or your spouse and make a fajr prayer or make a prayer or tahajjud, you know what I mean, to cleanse those evil spirits or those feelings out your system, you know what I mean? So coming to the mosque, learning the knowledge, and once I started to learn the knowledge and learn the deen the correct way, you know what I mean? It's like having a wool pulled over your eyes. It's like you can see a clear picture. Then I would tell anybody that it's nothing that in this world that Islam offers you better than anything else in this world. A person can come to me right now and say, hey, like just like the Powerball, how people were just going crazy for the Powerball money, 6 million or whatever. A person could have came to me and say, hey, give up Islam for this. I couldn't do it because I know that this life is only temporary and that Allah has promised me something way better than anything that this world could have offered me. So, being a Muslim has really helped me with my character. I have also came to the lectures at the masjid and heard the sheikh speak about character and conduct. Like we see a lot of things on the media and a lot of people that you might see out that doesn't portray Islam, but they might say or profess that they are Muslim, but they don't have the correct characters or actions. You know what I mean? We're not here to judge anyone, but being a Muslim all the time, when you give dawah, you don't necessarily have to speak it. Sometimes it could just be shown in your character. When I started to learn about Islam, when I first heard about Islam, my mother came home and we was riding, and she was like, "Well, I'm Muslim now. Do you want to be Muslim?" And I'm like, "Okay, what's that?" She like, "Well," I'm like, "Do we gotta pray like this?" So I'm thinking that we gotta pray like the Catholics. And she like, "No, when we get home, I'm gonna show you how to pray." So she was like, "But it's up to you to decide what you want to do." I was 10 years old at the time. Um, she had just got married and everything. So once I took my Shahada. We used to read, make our prayers, and I remember the days we used to get up for Fajr prayer and read the Quran and hear her husband talk about different stories of the Quran and different things and different hadiths, and it always stuck with me. So as me growing up, it never was like, okay, I'm gonna be something else or I want to go back to Christianity. It felt like, whatever I was doing, Islam will always be a part of me. But now I went through a transition stage, whereas I was one of those people, whereas, okay, yeah, I say I'm Muslim, but I was still doing everything else haram, like just like not living the righteous way until a couple of incidents happened in my life that was like kind of drastic. You know what I mean? It made me just, Allah just stripped everything from me to make me see like, he's the only one that I can turn to in the time of need when I need to call on him and ask for different things or different things ain't going right in my life. So one particular time, I'm in the store at a gas station. The Muslim brother, he heard me talking to the other Muslim brother earlier, but I was going in there doing some haram, and he was like, "Yo, I heard you get a brother salams earlier." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." He was like, "You say you Muslim?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, how you doing this?" What I was doing in the store, which is haram. He say, "How you doing this?" He said, "You say you Muslim by mouth, but it's not in your heart yet." And I was like, "Wow." And I left out the store and I thought about it. I called my mom because she used to always tell me and warn me like beforehand, like, I know you might think it's some type of way, or you young right now, you want to live your life and you want to do different things, but Islam is the way. Islam is the way. So I had to call her and tell her like, man, this junk really touched me. Like, I'm really not living my life righteous. I'm really just out here living. Like, you know what I mean? I'm saying that I'm Muslim, but I'm halfway making my prayers, halfway not doing this. So now, once I had to sit down and these things happened in my life and things started to change drastically, it was a Ramadan, and I would never forget this. I was living in the area where the masjid is at now over on Warren, and I fast. Wasn't really eating meals, nothing like that. I was living on my own at the time, my very first time living on my own. It was during Ramadan. I had just got laid off from my job. I was supposed to have a determination sent for my job to even get my unemployment money. I fast through Ramadan, made me a dua. The next 2 days, I got a call for a job, and that they just gave me my redetermination for my unemployment money. So it was like Allah shows you different things, and He takes you through different things in your life, so He can show you and break you down and give you something better. And alhamdulillah, I've been blessed. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just amazed by the things that, like, when you learn Islam and you learn the knowledge, and it's crazy how some people know certain things or they're scholars in different areas or religions or their profession, and they get arrogant. But in Islam, it teaches you, don't be arrogant, be patient. You know what I mean? Have good character. You know what I mean? Prophet Muhammad said that a believer is a reminder to another believer. So when the times when I was struggling, me coming to the masjid was the best thing for me. You know what I mean? Seeing the truth of Islam. Now that I told you my story, what is your story?